This is Kos-Mos, the rarest blade in all of Xenoblade 2. I only got her after playing the game for more than a year. Now here is me releasing her. Yes, I have to summon her again now, but with all the tricks I'm about to cover in this video, I am certain that I can get her back in just a few hours. Even if I have to start with 0 core crystals. This guide will tell you how to increase your odds of getting rare blades and how to efficiently grind for legendary core crystals. At the end, I will show you how long it took me to get Kos-Mos again with these strategies. There is one easy thing that you should always do before using core crystals, and that is increasing your luck stat. Yes, the higher this number is, the higher the chances of you getting rare blades. First of all, we can use luck boosting accessories. You can equip one item that increases your luck by a percentage and another that increases it by a flat number. But that's not all. If you go to the menu to equip your blades and press R one time, you can see that every blade has a stat modifier. They will all increase one stat of their driver by a certain percentage. And yes, some blades can increase your luck. Little side note however, only some common blades can increase your luck stat. There are 0 rare blades with a luck modifier. But on top of that, some blades can also increase your luck stat if you give them the right core chip. Finally, the luck stat also grows with your level, so at level 99 it will be much easier to max it out. Alright, my Nia now has a luck stat of 999. Next up, let's talk about boosters. These are some of the most poorly explained things in the entire game. Boosters increase your odds of getting blades from certain elements. Bravery boosters increase the chances of getting fire or water blades. Truth gives you ice and wind. Compassion is for electric and earth. Justice is for light and dark. Every driver also has something named a thought cloud, where you can see these 4 stats again. You will always pull more blades from the elements that correspond with your highest idea stat in the thought cloud. For example, the highest stat of my Nia is bravery, so she is more likely to pull fire or water blades unless I use boosters. How do you increase the idea stats? By filling out the affinity charts of blades from one of the 2 elements from the idea stat. If you're only missing 1 or 2 blades, make sure to keep the idea stats in mind. Some players might want to know what the probabilities are to get each blade, and I'll explain that in a minute, but there's something else I need to talk about first. Getting new blades is mostly luck based, but the game does have something called a pity system. This guarantees that even the most unlucky players will still get at least 3 rare blades after a set amount of core crystals are used. Behind the scenes, the game basically has an invisible point counter. It will go up every time you use a core crystal without getting a rare blade. If this counter reaches 100 points, you'll get one of the 3 pity blades. Common core crystals contribute 5 points to this counter, rare crystals contribute 25 points and legendaries contribute 50. As soon as you got all 3 pity blades however, it will be completely luck based again to get all other blades. But who are those pity blades? Well, it depends. On this chart you can see the probabilities to get every blade in the game. Note that these are just the base percentages. These odds can be increased by your luck stat, your idea stats, and the rarity of the core crystals you're using. When a new save file is made, it is randomly put in one of these 4 groups. All of these 4 groups have separate probabilities to get each blade, and they have separate pity blades, which are highlighted in green. The only way to know what group you're in is to look at which blades you got as your pity blades. Did you get Godfrey, Agate and Boreas relatively early on in your playthrough? Then you're likely in group 1. If you got Percival, Azami and Adenine early on, you're probably in group 2. Just one thing to note, there was supposed to be a group 5, but the developers messed up and instead of programming that one in, they just put in group 1 2 separate times. So there is a 40% chance that your save file is in group 1, a 20% chance that you're in group 2, 3 or 4, and no one was ever put in group 5. With everything about the blade summoning covered, let's now talk about the best way to farm for core crystals. The most efficient strategy is to find a unique monster and to do a full driver combo on it as many times as you can. Unique monsters will always drop items when they get smashed, including core crystals. You obviously need break, topple, launch and smash arts for this, so the earliest you can realistically use this method is around chapter 4 or 5. This is definitely the best strategy in the game, but its effectiveness does depend on whether or not you have some specific blades. If you have a blade named Adenine, you should definitely use her while farming, because she has a skill named Treasure Wisdom which will increase the drop rate of items, including core crystals. You can find a similar skill on some common blades under the name Treasure Sensor. It will be completely random which blades have this skill, so you're not guaranteed to have it, but definitely be on the lookout for it. And if you're around level 60, you can use gold chips on your blade to increase the item drop rate even further. The easiest way to get them is from enemies on Temperantia. Here is where you can find them on the map. There are also some accessories that won't increase the chances of core crystals dropping, but will make it easier to inflict break, topple, launch and smash on enemies. A higher luck stat will make it easier to land break, so once again keep those chokers nearby. There are also items called beta scopes, which will lower the enemy's break resistance. Right now I'll show you where you can get one in a chest on the Temperantia Titan. Finally, an overclocking bangle will let you switch between your blades much faster, which is really handy if you're cycling between break, topple, launch or smash arts. Most enemies that drop this are around level 35. On the screen you can see where you can find some. This strategy works on almost any unique monster, but higher leveled ones usually have a bigger chance to drop rare or even legendary core crystals. The best enemies to farm in the late game are the level 99 Relentless Ardoran and the level 110 Cloudsea Ken. These two enemies have the highest drop rates for rare and legendary core crystals. The downside to Ardoran is that he only shows up after a very long quest, and if you kill it before finishing it, it will just not respawn anymore. After it's level 99, it will get a tombstone of course. If this quest sounds like too much work, you can just farm Cloudsea Ken from Tantal instead. And again, if you're not in the post game, then any unique monster around your level that is susceptible to break should work. Now you know how to increase the odds of getting rare blades and how to grind for core crystals. So, how long did it take me to get Kos-Mos again using all of these strategies? Well, let's take a look. Yep, 2 hours and 20 minutes. This might sound like a long time, but believe me, it's much better than the whole year it took me on my first playthrough. Just keep in mind, this is with me starting with 0 core crystals. I got around 35 legendary core crystals and 55 rare cores every time I grinded for about 15 minutes. This is what you can expect if Kos-Mos is also your final blade and if you're planning to grind for her. This is luck based of course. There is always a chance that you'll get her way earlier than this. There's also a chance that it might take way longer though. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a comment if you're one of those people that got Kos-Mos in chapter 3. Leave a like if you enjoyed. This has been Maxmonado signing out.